Hey, what's up guys? Austin here, back with another episode of Study the Greats. And in the last video, I tried out a new idea, which is where you guys could vote on what drummer you wanted to see in the next episode. And for being the first time we tried it out, it worked pretty well. So the clear winner from that, with 50% of the vote, was Gavin Harrison. So that's what we're going to do today. Now we'll be taking a look at one of Gavin's favorite concepts, which is overriding on top of odd time signatures. And probably the best example I've seen of this is from his performance of the song 19 Days at the Modern Drummer Fest in 2008. So let's go take a look at what he's doing, and we'll see if we can break it down. All right, cool. So this is Gavin Harrison at the Modern Drummer Fest in 2008. And in this section of the song, he does a couple really cool overrides. So let's go ahead and watch it real quick and see what he's doing. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, so looking at the transcription here. So first off, this song is called 19 Days because it's basically a long 19/8 phrase split up into 2 bars of 7 and 1 bar of 5, okay, which adds up to 19. So that's the underlying form for this entire section. And he does 2 overrides. The first one is a quarter note override. So he's playing 1/8 notes on the ride and accenting every other note on the bell, which creates a nice quarter note pulse over top of all these odd time signatures. And the second one is a dotted 1/8 override, which means that he's accenting every 3rd 16th note on the bell while keeping the underlying pattern the same, which is extremely challenging to do if you've never tried it before. It really takes a lot of practice to get down. But I'll go ahead and play this for you real quick so you can see what the transcription sounds like. All right, cool. Let's go to the kit and see if we can break this thing down. All right, cool. So before we get into the overrides and the ghost notes and all that stuff, I just want to go over what the underlying kick and snare pattern is. So I'll demonstrate it just by playing 1/8 notes on the ride so you can see what that kick and snare pattern is. Okay, so that pattern never really changes throughout that entire section. So now that we got that down, we can start working on the overrides. And the first one is a quarter note override. And the only thing we need to do for that is just accent every other 1/8 note on the ride bell. And that's going to create a quarter note pulse over everything, okay? So it's not really too difficult to do, but it can be a little bit tricky if you've never tried it before, because sometimes the accent is going to be on the beat, sometimes it's going to be off the beat, because we're playing over odd time signatures, okay? So I'll demonstrate by just playing straight 1/8 notes first, and then I'll go into the quarter note override so you can see how that transition works. All right, so that's pretty cool. That quarter note pulse really smooths out the odd times and creates a nice groove for the listener to latch onto. So that's definitely a useful concept to have in your arsenal if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to play odd time signatures. Now the next part is not so easy. So now we're going to get into the dotted eighth override. So to play a dotted eighth, you're basically just accenting every third 16th note on the ride bell while keeping the underlying pattern the same, which is extremely challenging to do. And if you've never tried it before, you'll probably have to slow it way down and check the transcription to see where everything lines up. But I'll demonstrate by playing the quarter note override first, and then I'll go into the dotted eighth override so you can see how that works. All right, so this is some pretty tough stuff, but unfortunately for us, it does get even harder because now we have to add in the ghost notes. And I'm not going to go into this in too much detail because his ghost notes are kind of improvisational throughout that entire section, but I'll just demonstrate the underlying basis for what the ghost notes are, okay? All right, so I personally think that the ghost notes are the hardest part of this entire thing to get down. It really takes a lot of practice, and I'm not positive that all the ghost notes are transcribed out exactly perfect, but it was as close as I could figure out from the video. So now I'm going to try to play all of this in context with the backing track that he plays to, and before you guys even ask, I'm not going to provide a link to this track anywhere because it's included with his Rhythmic Horizons DVD. So if you guys want to get this track, I would definitely recommend picking up that DVD, okay? So yeah, let's give it a shot and see how I do. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. That is the Gavin Harrison 19 Days Overrides. So thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to vote on what drummer you want to see in the next episode, you can do that from the little eye over here in the corner, okay? Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.